Hello everybody, Serena Polverino here, Content Manager at AppsBuilder. Welcome to this webinar today on how to create mobile applications for your events and take advantage of mobile technologies to create engagement before, during and after the event. If you feel like reaching out to me today during the webinar, you can easily do that using the hashtag #apps4events and reach out to me and ask questions or using AppsBuilder Twitter profile, or if you want, you can just use the live chat box that you find on the right-hand side of your screen. Okay, so for those of you who are not familiar with AppsBuilder yet, let me just give you a very quick introduction about us. AppsBuilder was born in 2010 with the aim of turning what is typically expensive and complex procedure into a piece of cake, a super easy process that doesn't require any coding or design skills. Over the past 5 years, the app industry has been growing non-stop, and the mobile market has opened a wide ocean of business opportunities for all types of industries. And the event industry is definitely one of the sectors that has most benefited from mobile apps, basically for two main reasons. So the first reason, of course, is because of mobile device penetration rates worldwide. According to eMarketer reports, smartphone adoptions has tipped past 50% in all the major markets worldwide. And this is particularly true for the USA, that have already reached smartphone penetration rates above 50%, while Western Europe as a whole is expected to cross that boundary in 2014. Although we have to say that the UK, Norway and Sweden have already passed 50% as early as 2012. Now, definitely the second reason why the event industry benefits so much from mobile applications is the tremendous cost reduction that derives from going paperless. So if you are spending, for example, $5 to $10 per attendee for programs and printing out your handouts, by creating an application for your event, you can definitely save on printing costs. But honestly, it's not just a matter of printing costs. Applications can be updated on the fly and they don't require any physical distribution. So you can cut costs on shipping, on distribution and last-minute updates. So in other words, time to hesitate is over, and if you haven't done it yet, it's now time to create an application for your events. And that's exactly where AppsBuilder comes in. AppsBuilder is the only do-it-yourself tool that combines 3 different functionalities into one single platform. So with AppsBuilder, of course, you can create mobile applications and mobile websites, what we technically refer to as HTML5 web app. You can also, of course, promote your application, drive more traffic to it, and spread word about application. But mobile apps are also about reaching out to your audience, and we at AppsBuilder know that very well. And that's the reason why we also provide you with loads of engagement tools to engage with your audience and keep in touch with them while they're using the application, but also after they have stopped using the application. So before we get this started, let's just have a very quick overview at some of the topics that we're going to cover in this webinar today. So we're going to start with a complete walkthrough to show you how easy it is to create an application from scratch. The webinar is going to last about 1 hour, and we're going to do that in 1 hour. But within the time frame of this webinar, we're also going to see how to manage in-app bookings, so that you can enable attendees to book seats for your events, for your sessions through your applications, just by tapping an icon on their smartphone screen. We're also going to see how to create a list of speakers and sessions, of course, to keep your attendees updated all the time on the different sessions and speakers participating in your event. And we're also going to see some app design customization features to customize the look and feel of your application and possibly mirror the look and feel of your company or your organization. We're also going to see some promotional tools such as push notifications. We are going to learn together how to schedule push notifications to communicate with your attendees in real time, even when they're not actually using your application, or, for example, after the event, which is something very useful for client retention and to keep in touch with your customers, with your users over time. And finally, we're also going to have a short Q&A session in the final part of this webinar, where you can put forward your questions, and basically all you have to do is type in your question in the chat box, or like I said, you can also use Twitter, and so you can also get in touch with us using the hashtag #apps4events. Anyway, don't worry because this webinar will be recorded and will be emailed to each one of you at the end of it. So if you have to rush, if you can attend the webinar until the end, or if you have some extra questions that I don't get to answer, no problem, because you can easily get in touch with me and you have the chance to go over the webinar afterwards just by checking your inbox. Okay, now let's get started with AppsBuilder's #1 function, which is of course create an application. So if this is the first time that you're using AppsBuilder, then you can just start creating an application by using the Try for Free button that you find on the home page. Otherwise, if this is not the first time, which I assume is your case, you can just access the advanced dashboard by logging in with your username and password, which is what I'm doing right now. Okay, this is the main dashboard, which is currently empty because I haven't created any applications yet. So just click on this big blue button here, Create a New App, and this will redirect you to the wizard, our guided tour. In the first step, you will be asked to provide some application information. So, for example, give a name to your application. And for today's webinar, I'm going to call my app iHealth, and I'm going to tell you why in a minute. And if you want, you can also provide a website URL if you have a website or a blog and you would like to import some of the contents from this website or a blog inside your application. But this is something optional, so you don't have to do it, but it's very handy if you have a blog or a website. And of course, if this is not the first time that you're using AppsBuilder, you can also choose to skip the wizard and go straight to the advanced panel. Today, I will walk you through all the different stages of this wizard, so let's click on Next Step. So here you can choose the features that you want to display inside your application. As you can see, you can choose among a wide range of modules. We have news, social networks, multimedia, photo galleries, podcasts, and many others. Of course, you don't have to make up your mind right now because you will be free to add new pages or remove pages if necessary from the advanced panel later on. I'll just add a few pages just to show you how easy it is to select a module. Basically, you just have to click on it or click to remove it. In the next step, you have the chance to select a template for your application. And as you can see, you can choose among over 80 ready-made templates. But if you want, you can also create your own template from scratch using our customization features from the advanced dashboard. As you can see below each template, you have different menu styles options. For example, this one here, you can choose among a list or maybe agreed on 4 columns, agreed on 2 columns, and so on. For today's webinar, I'm going to go for a very basic layout because I'm going to customize the layout of my application later on. Okay, let's go for something like this one, for example. Okay, and this is just a confirmation page to say that your app's basic structure is ready, and you can now access the advanced panel. Okay, that's the advanced panel. So first of all, I want to guide you through the different sections that we have in this panel. First of all, you see this series of messages popping up the dashboard. Well, these are a series of tips to introduce you to different sections of the platform and suggest you how to use them. I strongly recommend that you make some time to go through these tips because you can find some recommendations and some useful tips on how to make the most of our features. If you want to skip them, just click on the cross here. Okay, on the left-hand side, you can find a list of all the different modules that you can add to your application. As you can see, there are plenty of them, and they are divided into different categories. So we have general content, multimedia, social networks, contact pages, forms for bookings and feedbacks, for example, and widgets, ready-made pages. In today's webinar, we're going to see how to use some of these pages. In the central panel, you can find the two pages that we previously added during the wizard. And on the right-hand side of each of these modules, you can find these three little icons, one for add-in content, the other one options to set some basic design features about your application, and the other one to delete the page itself. You can find this little navigation menu here, which tells you in which section you are at the moment and on which aspect of your application you're currently working on. So at the moment we are working on the content, and we're going to move to the look and feel in a minute up until promotional tools. I also want to drag your attention to these two little icons that you find here. This one is the notification box. And I recommend that you make sure that you regularly check the messages in this box, because that's where we send notifications about recent updates and special offers available at the moment. Whereas this icon here is the checkbox. So here we have gathered 8 fundamental recommendations to improve your application. So if you have the chance, make some time to go through them, because in each one of these you will find some tips and tricks to improve your application, and also some resources to find out more about each topic, each subject. For example, this one here, this tip is about writing mobile optimized content for your app. And if you wish to find out more, you can also download our free ebook just by clicking on this button here. Okay, so let's go back to the main panel. As you can see in Central Park, you can find the two different pages that we have added during the wizard. I'm going to delete these pages because I want to add new pages from scratch with you right now. Alright, for today's webinar, I'm going to create an application for iHealth. iHealth is an international conference for healthcare professionals with the objective of exchanging ideas and experiences with IT. The event will take place at the end of January 2014 in Orlando, California. Florida, actually, sorry. Okay, so this is the website that I'm going to use as a reference for today's webinar. The first page that I want to create is an About Us page with a brief introduction about the conference and some directions to reach the venue. To create an About Us page, all I have to do is just select a module that is called Places and that you can find under the General Content section. To add a page to your app, all you have to do is just either click on the page or drag and drop the module, like I'm doing right now. I'm going to delete this one, of course, because I don't need a clone. Okay, so now I can start adding some content to my page. This is a special type of page where I can create my very own content manually, so without actually importing it from a website, from a URL or a feed, as it can be done for other pages such as the news module or the social pages. So if you have already created a manual entry, you can just click on Archive and browse through the different entries and select the one that you wish to import. Otherwise, as in our case, you need to create a new module from scratch. Just click on Custom and then Create. Okay, this is the main panel, which is currently empty. So let's create a new item. This is a little helper where you can see the explanation of all the different fields that you can find on this page. If you need some help, if you need to find out more on which type of information you have to provide for each different fields, take a look at this little helper. Otherwise, you can just click on the icon to make it disappear. Okay, so I'm going to call it, I'm going to give a title to it, iHealth 2014 Orlando. Let me see if I can find some information on their website, maybe about iHealth. Okay, I'm going to copy this text from here and paste it in. As you can see, you also have a little editor here, so you can edit your text. You can also set a date for it, for example, suppose today. And you can also provide an external link if you want to redirect users to an external website where they can find extensive information on this subject or on the event. So I'm going to copy and paste it in here. Okay, now we're talking about an event, so I guess it's very important to provide also some information about the venue, about its location. So let me see if I can find something on their website. So the event venue is here at the Hilton Lake Buena Vista. Just I'm going to copy the street and then the city and the zip code. You can also provide an email address. And a phone number, of course, which I'm pretty sure, yes, I can find here. Okay, let's take a look at the other features that we have, the other options that we have for this page. The active inactive button can be used to hide incomplete pages from your users. So this option is particularly useful if your content is still a draft and you wish to go over it later before making it accessible to users. In our case, the content is ready, so I'll just set it on active. And then we have the geolocalization option, which is by far one of my favorite applications in AppsBuilder, one of my favorite features, because I think that's exactly what mobile apps are for, making your content easily accessible to users when they most need it. As you can imagine, all you have to do is just drag the marker over the map to select the exact location. But if you want, of course, you can also just type in the exact address. So the exact address here is this one. And there you go. So I can see now the marker indicating the exact location on the map. And I'm going to save my changes. So what does it mean? Basically, it means that when your users get closer to this location, they will see this page right on top of the list of all the other pages. So it's definitely the most effective way to deliver the right content at the right time and to the right people when you most need it. So save your changes. And finally, we can add a little image for this page. For this webinar, I have already created a folder with all the images that I'm going to use in a webinar, but it's extremely easy to upload your own images with AppsBuilder. Just click on Upload Your Images, select Add, and then select the folder from your desktop, from your computer, from which you wish to import the different images. Okay, I'm going to use this image here and save my changes. Okay, save your changes again, and let's take a look at what we have just created. As you can see on the right-hand side of the screen, you can find the live preview, so to test in real time what you have just created and check the look and feel of the different pages. So there you go. That's the page that we have just created. We have our little image and all the contact details that we have previously provided and a short description for the event. If you click on this icon here, your users will be redirected to Google Maps, where they can find extensive information and directions to reach your premises and to move around the area. Okay, so anyway, if you wish to go over some of these instructions, or if you wish to find out more on how to create the different pages with AppsBuilder, you can take a look at our blog, and there you will find detailed instructions on how to create place pages or many other different types of pages. So along with a map to locate the conference venue, I think it might be a good idea also to offer a route planner to the attendees so that they can use your application not only to spot your premises on the map, but also to walk around the city. So to do that, to create a route planner, I'm going to go to the widget section and select directions. This is a special type of module where you don't need to set any type of settings or special options. It's ready to use. So all you have to do is just click on it, and it's very intuitive, as you can see. So suppose that your guests, that your attendees, for example, are on Vista Boulevard. And they need to go back to the conference venue, so to your location. There you go. So you can set your starting point, your target, your destination, and there you find the route on your map and the exact location and the exact directions to reach the final destination. So basically, it's an additional service that will add more value to your application and will give more reasons to your users to check into it. Okay, now when organizing an event, it's also very important to be easily approached by attendees for information on registrations, fees, dates, and so on. So that's why I'm going to create a contact section to allow app users to get in touch with iHealth organizers via email. Let's move to this section called Contact. As you can see, you have different options here. I just want to add an email module, but you can choose also to be easily approached via phone or via SMS. Just click on Add Contents. Let's provide an email address, of course. And for email, you can also add a subject line and a default message to facilitate your users. So suppose, for example, that you expect to receive a lot of information requests about group fees, about tickets for groups. So you can set a default message so that your users won't even have to bother about typing in the message. So for example, hi. Okay, so for example, hi, I'd like to receive further information on group tickets. Thanks. Okay, this is just to facilitate your users, but you don't have to do it. If you want, you can just leave it blank and always save your changes. Okay, so now on my home page, I can see the 3 different pages that I have just created. I want to turn these 3 pages into submenus. I will show you how to do that. First of all, I need a news module, for example, which actually I'm not really going to use, but I'm just going to use as a main container. And then you see how easy it is to reorder pages? So, and now I'm going to turn these 3 pages into submenus. To do that, all I have to do is just slide gently to the right, and there you go. Now, on the home page, you can only see one single page, and if you click on it, you can access the 3 different modules that we created. Okay, let's move on to our next page, and let's go back for a second to the website. So, if you take a look at the website, you can see that a lot of international speakers are going to participate in the conference, so it might be a good idea to create a list of speakers that attendees can check to get some background information before signing up for a session. So there you can find a list of all the speakers. And to create this type of page, I'm going to use a module called People that you can find under the General Content section. Just click on Add Content, and the procedure is always the same. So if you have already created it, just click on Archive. Otherwise, just click on Custom and Create. Okay, I'm going to create one for using, as an example, Suzanne Becken, one of the participants in the event. Okay, I'm going to copy her biography from the website. If you want, or if you have it, you can also provide a birthday date, and if you can also provide a website URL dedicated where your users can find more information about this speaker. So in her case, she works for the Columbia University, so I'm pretty sure she's got her own page on the Columbia University website. Let's do a very quick search to find it. Yes, there you go. So that's her page on the Columbia University website, where I can find some contact details about her. For example, let me see. First of all, the website. So I'm going to copy and paste the URL here. Then you can provide a phone number, for example. An email address. And if you want, in case your speakers have as a profile, social profile, for example, LinkedIn, Twitter, on Facebook, you can also provide some social contacts for interaction. So, for example, let's provide a Twitter contact. Okay, even in this case, you can select the active or inactive option and the geolocalization feature, of course. Let's upload a little image for her. The procedure, of course, is always the same, so select the image and that's it. And finally, save your changes. Okay, save changes again. And we can finally test it in the preview. Okay, so as you can see, that's our manual entry that we have just created with our image, with the contact details that we previously provided, and with the different icons redirecting users to external web pages or social profiles where they can interact with this speaker. Okay, so it's now time to create a session listing to help attendees keep track of what's going on anytime they want, just by tapping an icon on their smartphone. So to create this type of page, I'm going to use a module called Events. Once again, you can find this module under the General Content section. Okay, let's click on Custom to create a new one from scratch. I'm sure you're already very familiar with the procedure by now. So let's take a look at the website. Let me see if I can find something in the program content. So there you go. Here you can find the session listings. So I'm going to select this one that sounds interesting. Is technology making us less human? So I'm going to copy the title from here. And I will do the same for the description of the session. Okay, now as every event, you can set a start date and an end for your event. So let me see. This session takes place on Friday, January the 31st at 10 a.m. up until 11:15. So the start event is on the 31st at 10. And the end is on the same day at 11:30. Once again, it might be very handy to provide a link where they can find extra information on this event and on other sessions. And the event location. So, for example, main hall, stage 1. Once again, you can enable geolocalization options and upload an image. Save changes, and let's take a look at it. Okay, there you go. So we can find information about our venue, about the date, and a short description. Okay, so after creating a page for sessions, it's time to create a booking page where attendees can actually book a seat for the sessions they wish to attend. So to do that, I will use a module that is called Form. And once again, click on Add Content. This is the main panel to create customized forms for your application. You can create forms for any purposes you want, such as feedback forms to gather your users' feedback on your services or on your events, for example. But you can also create booking forms to enable the booking of services right inside the application. So today we're going to create a form to allow users to book seats for your event sessions. So first of all, I need some contact details about my attendees. So I will use this module called Text. All you have to do is just click on Options and give a title to it, which is basically the type of information that you need from your customers, from your attendees. So first of all, your name. Okay, I need another one for the email address. Okay, and I will need another one for their phone number. So I will move to Standard and select Number. And save your changes. Okay, now I need to know what type of session they like to register for. So I'll use a different type of module that you can find under multiple choice category, and it's called Select. So I will call it Which Session. And in this case, we need to set some extra options. So let's click on Options. Of course, we need to provide the different options they can choose among. So I'm going to type in the names of different sessions. Okay, this one is the one we created the event feed for. Let me see if I can find something else. Okay, I have another one on HIT governance. All right, and let's add another event. Let me see what we can find here. This one, the role of the vendor community. Okay, and save changes. As you can see, you can add many different fields. I'm probably fine with this. I will just add maybe one last field, a checkbox, to allow users to specify whether they need special equipment such as wheelchair space, for example. So just click on Options. Wheelchair space, maybe. Do you need wheelchair space? And just like I did for the Select, I need to set two different options. This is a yes or no question, so I'll just say yes, no. And that's it. Okay, now you see this little button here, Edit Form Options. If you click on Edit Form Options, you will be able to edit some advanced options in your form. For example, you can rename your form. Okay, let's call it Book Your Seat. And if you want, you can also customize the success message. The success message is a confirmation message that will be displayed to your users, to your app users, after submitting the form. So we might say, for example, thank you. Okay, thank you. We'll reach out to you shortly. And if you move to the look and feel, you can also customize a little bit the design of your form by choosing a text color and a background color, of course, and save your changes. Okay, very curious to see what it looks like, so let's click on a preview, and there you go. So I'm gonna fill in this form as an example. So my name, I'm gonna type in an email address, okay, my phone number, for example, and select which session I want to register for. I want to register for this one. Do you need wheelchair space? No. And submit. And there you go. That's the confirmation message I was talking about a minute ago. Okay, I will show you where we are gathering all this information from your customers, from your attendees in a minute. Okay, let's move on to the next page for our application. So, like I said before, events is an amazing opportunity to generate some buzz around your company or organization and leverage the power of word of mouth. So, if we take a look at their website, on the contact page particularly, you can see that they are quite active on social networks. So I think it's very important for them to be easily approached by their members, by the members of their organizations. As you can see, they have different social profiles, and that's the reason why for today's webinar I'm going to create a social page using their Twitter and Facebook accounts. Okay, there you go. These are their social pages. I will try to import all the content from their social pages right into my application. Okay, to do that, I need to move to this category called social and select Facebook and Twitter. Now, once again, just like I did for the About page, I need a news module, which I'm going to use as a main container. So first of all, I will reorder the modules and then turn Facebook and Twitter into submenus, just like I did before. So just slide the module to the right, and there you go. Now I need to add some content for both pages, so just click on Add Content. Okay, this is a very special type of page, very easy to create content for it. We don't actually need to create any manual content. We can automatically import content from their social profiles. So for Facebook, all I have to do is just copy the account's name, which is the very last bit of the URL. Copy and paste it in. You can also select the content type choosing among news, gallery, and event. I'm going to go for the news and save changes. Right, let's do the same for Twitter. Once again, let's copy the final bit of the URL and save changes. All right, so first of all, I want to show you that now on the home page, we just have one single page. If I click on it, I find the two social profiles. And in each one of them, I have imported the stream of information from Facebook and from Twitter. That was extremely easy, wasn't it? So you don't need to create manual content. You just import it directly, automatically from your social networks. Okay, and finally, apps are a great opportunity to generate engagement before, during, and after the event. So not only using social networks, but also through special app options that is called wall chat. Wall chats allow attendees to chat in real time with speakers, organizers, and other attendees. So it's a good way to keep in touch with them, with your attendees, even after the event. It's a form of instant messaging system that you can enjoy right inside your application. We can find wall chat in AppsBuilder under the category called Contact. Okay. Once again, just like the widget, this is a special page that doesn't require any setting actually. So I just click on it and show you how to use it. Basically, like I said, it's a form of instant messaging system. So your users, all they have to do is just click on this icon here and click on Add. So suppose, for example, I am attending a lovely speech on HIT governance, and I want to share my opinion with other participants in the event. So I'm gonna send a message to all the community saying, great insights at HIT governance session. Okay, and submit it to share it with all the community of app users. So now suppose that some other person belonging to our communities finds my message and decides to ask for further information. So suppose, for example, we have some interaction from another community member who's asking which stage is it on? And there you go. I can easily just use the application to reply. So for example, main hall, stage 1. And there you go. Okay, I can see a question from one of our community members right on time when speaking of wall chat. And of course, yes, the webinar, like I said at the beginning, the webinar is recorded. So I will send to each one of you a recording of the webinar at the end of it. So you will have the chance to go through it anytime you want just by checking your inbox. And you can also find this webinar you will find this webinar as of tomorrow on YouTube, along with many other webinars that we previously recorded. Okay, so right, let's go back to the home page. As you can see, we have created quite a few pages. So now that our content is ready for each of our pages, we can start working on the design. So let's start working on some basic design features that you can find just by clicking this little icon here, Options. As you can see, you can customize the title, the description of each page, and many other features such as the icon, the header image, cell layout, menu appearance, and so on. So, I don't know if you remember, but this page that is currently called News was actually an About Us page. So let's rename it, About, and I will also choose a nice icon for it. I have previously created some icons for this webinar, but of course you have the chance to use the icons provided by AppsBuilder. If you click on Sets, you will have the chance to access an archive with loads of different icons for each different styles that you want. I also want to show, okay, of course you can do the same also for sub-pages. For time reasons, I'm going to go a little bit faster over these features because I want to walk you through the final stage of the app development. So let's move on. This one that is called People was the list of speakers. I have an icon for this one too. Okay. Events. We can call it Sessions. Okay, that was the booking form, so I will call it Book Your Seat. And let's upload an icon. As you can see, once you get used to it, it gets very automatic and intuitive. This one was called News, but it was actually a social page, so I'll call it Follow Us. And we're almost done. Finally, the wall chat. I like the name wall chat, so I'll just change the icon There you go. Okay, I also want to show you how to add a header image, for example, for our speakers page. So let's go back to the options for speakers. And as you can see, you have a special section here, header image. You can upload your header image to be perfectly viewable both in portrait and landscape mode. I'll select this one. So basically the header image is like a little banner to introduce the list of all the other items that you have on the page. Okay, so we can now move on to the look and feel section where you can further customize the app design and make it more consistent with your event, with your organization or company. I can see many other questions popping up. I'm really happy about that. I would just ask you to bear with me for a few more 15 minutes maybe, just to get to the end of the webinar, and then in the final part of the webinar I will go through all of your questions and answer as many of them as possible. Okay, so in look and feel section, first of all, you'll be asked to provide an application icon and a splash image. These two elements are compulsory if you want to submit your application to the major app stores, but apart from the app stores, you should keep in mind that your app icon is the image that your users will see on their smartphone screen, so it's a reminder of the application functionalities. And that's the reason why we always recommend to choose the application icon very carefully. If you need some advice and recommendations on how to create appealing application icons and splash images, take a look at our checklist. You can find a section dedicated to this subject, set up your application icon and splash image, and if you wish to find out more, you can also download an ebook which is entirely dedicated to this subject. Okay, let's upload an icon and a splash image. The splash image is a little image that your users will see while waiting for your app to be fully uploaded. So it can make the waiting more pleasant, and that's why it can improve your application's overall usability. So that's why we recommend to upload both of these elements, even if you're not going to submit your application to the major stores. Okay, as you can see, you can also customize fonts, buttons, icons, and many other elements. Let's move quickly to theme, where you can find a list of all the themes, the pre-made templates that we previously saw in the wizard. And once again, you can pick a new one, or if you want, you can also import your own themes. If you want to apply a new theme, all you have to do is just select on it and check these two boxes. But please note that when you apply a new theme, all of your previous design settings will be lost. So, for example, if you have already uploaded some background, some icons for your pages, just like we did, these icons will be replaced by the icons provided by the new theme. So that's why we recommend to think twice before applying a new theme, if you don't want to lose, of course, your design settings. Okay, I'm happy with this design, so I will just move to home page where I can customize some extra features. The very first thing that you can customize about the home page, of course, is the menu layout. I just have to ask you to bear with me for a minute because I seem to have run into some connection problem, unfortunately. Okay, maybe it's working now. Alright, so yes, I was talking about the different menu layouts that you can choose from. So at the moment it is set as a list, but as you can see, you can choose among a wide range of layouts. So you're going to go for the grid on one column, on two columns, for example, maybe the grid on 5 columns, a fixed menu if you want. Okay, I'm going to go for the grid on 3 columns. As you can see now, all the icons are set on the upper part of the home page. If you want to move them to the bottom of your home page, which is exactly what I need to do, let's go back for a second to content. Okay. Okay, so it's actually under look and feel, so home page layout, just click on options, and as you can see, you can set the table vertical alignment to the bottom. There you go. Okay, I want to customize the background a little bit. As you can see, if I move to background, I can choose between color and image. You can also upload an image. I want to upload an image for this application. I have previously created a nice background. Now, I have uploaded the image, but please note that you can't see anything in the preview. And the reason is that because you have to uncheck this little box that you find here, disable image, and there you go. So please remember that if you choose to upload an image for your background, always remember to uncheck this little box here. Otherwise, if you want to opt for the color, that's it. You can move the marker on this little painter and select the exact color. Okay, I want to do the same for the title bar. The title bar is this little bar that you find here with the navigation buttons on it. Once again, you can choose between the color and the image. Okay, I'm going to use a specific color code for this one. Okay, there you go. Okay, so now that the design is ready we can move to the next section, which is settings and manage users. Unfortunately today, for time reasons, I cannot show you all the features included in settings and manage users. But don't worry, because these features will be covered in one of our next webinars. So for today's webinar, I just want to show you how to enable push notifications to communicate with your users even when they're not using your application. So let's move to manage users. You can find many tips on how to use the different features that you find under these 2 categories. Okay, and that's the main panel for push notifications. So push notifications are a great way of keeping your attendees updated on the latest news and last-minute changes about the event. So it's a good way to interact with your audience even when they're not actually using your application. But please note that you can only use push notifications if you have a native application, which is to say an application that has been already published on a major source such as on Google Play or the Apple App Store. For web apps, for HTML5 web apps, you can use what we call promotional pop-up, which is pretty much like a push notification, but it only works when your users actually open the application. Okay, so suppose that we have had a last-minute change about one of the sessions. So, for example, HIT governance session now on stage 2 instead of stage 1. This is a very important communication that I need to deliver to my event attendees right on time. So I want to make sure that the date is the right one. You can set the date as now, but as you can see, you can also schedule your push notifications for future times. You can also filter by device in case you want to reach just your attendees with Android devices or Apple devices or both of them. And you can enable the range filter, which is pretty much like the geolocalization options that we saw for manual entries. In this case, you have a marker once again with a radius, and you can select a different radius. It is set on kilometers. So suppose 50, for example. But if you want, you can also insert a specific address. Okay. This means that your push notification will be sent to all your app users within this area. And save your changes. Okay, you can send a message. I'm not actually sending a message at the moment, of course, because like I said, this type of function, this type of feature only works on native applications. And in our case, it is a web app. We haven't published yet on the stores. But as you can see in this little table here, you have your push notification history, where you can see all the messages that you have sent out, when you send them out, on which type of device, and the status, if it is pending, if it is delivered, or if you want, you can also delete it, of course. Okay, and then I want to show you this section here, Form Analytics. Remember when I told you about the booking form that you have in your application, which allows your attendees to book seats for the different event session? Well, that's the analytic panel where you can find all the information about your attendees. So here you can find the name, you can find contact details, and particularly we set an email address and a phone number, the specific session they would like to attend, and if they have any special requirements such as wheelchair space. Okay, so we got to move now quickly to the last section, which is Promote, where I will show you how to make the most of some of AppsBuilder's promotional tools to drive more traffic to your application and increase its popularity. Now, as you can see, when I try to move to the promotional section in AppsBuilder, you can see this little pop-up which asks you for a confirmation to confirm update. This is very useful because if you have already uploaded your application on the stores, it means that all the changes that you have applied to your application will be pushed straight to the store. So you won't have to worry about resubmitting your app to the stores because all the changes will be pushed straight to the stores and of course to your app users. So always remember to confirm updates. That's just a confirmation page where you can find some useful resources to find out more about our platform. But let's go back to the platform itself. All right, so the very first promotional tool is the landing page because like I said, this is a very unique, totally unique feature provided by AppsBuilder. So we are particularly proud of it, and that's the reason why we offer it as the main promotional tool. But before learning how to set up an app landing page, I want to give you a very quick overview of all the other promotional tools provided by AppsBuilder. So we have a QR code generator where you can create QR codes in 3 different sizes, small, medium, and large. And you can use QR codes to print them on stickers, posters, leaflets, and basically any kind of printed marketing materials you can think of to freshen up your documents and presentations. So all you have to do is just use the QR code, or you can just use this code string that you find here and paste it into your source code. Then we have the social share option. Right, the social share option allows you to spread the word about your application on the major social networks, Facebook, Twitter, G+, LinkedIn, and also via email. What is truly great about this feature is that you don't need to actually log into all the different networks, but you can manage you can manage all the major social networks using one single panel. Okay, and then let's take a look at this other promotional tool called Redirect to Mobile. Redirect to Mobile is by far the cheapest way to market your application and mobile site. It consists of a pop-up message like the one that you can see in the preview here, which invites your website visitors to download the application or access your mobile site, so that they can enjoy a more satisfying mobile experience. Basically, all you have to do is set a default message to invite your users to download the application from the stores or access the mobile site. And if you have already published the application on the stores, then you can also provide a link to Google Play and to the Apple App Store. And finally, publish on stores. With AppsBuilder, you can get your application published on the major stores. The stores supported by AppsBuilder are the Apple App Store and Google Play. This subject is quite extensive, so we're going to have a webinar entirely dedicated to this subject. As for now, suffice it to say that basically you have two options. We can either take on the whole submission process for you, and in that case you simply have to click Publish App for Me. Or if you are an advanced user, you can handle the whole procedure on your own by following this instruction that you find on the right. So as you can see, we have provided you with step-by-step instruction for the Apple App Store, Google Play, and Chrome Web Store for HTML5 web apps. Alright, so let's go back to the landing page. But first of all, what's a landing page? Well, a landing page is a sort of a standalone web page that is used to advertise your application and showcase its main features to potential users, but also existing users. It's like a mini website that is totally dedicated to your application. So as you can see, we already have an icon, of course, which is the one that we previously uploaded, and a title for our landing page. We can add a little subtitle, such as the Ultimate Event for Healthcare Executives, and a short description that I will take from their website. Okay. You can also choose to display a white or a black iPhone. I'm happy with a white one, and of course to show an app preview image to show your users what your app will look like, and so to encourage downloads and save your changes. Once again, on the right-hand side of your screen, you can see real-time updates to see what the page looks like. Let's move on to the features. So here you can choose the features that you want to display about your application, but first of all you have to pick a category to which your app belongs to. As you can see, we have already created different categories. In this case, I say that organizations and not-profit is the right category. So as you can see, for each feature we have already provided a short description about the feature itself. Unfortunately, this description is not editable at the moment, but it will soon be, so you will have the chance actually to type in your own text and to describe your own features. I will select all these features and save my changes. And finally, the look and feel. You can choose a different device alignment on the right-hand side or on the left-hand side. You can choose a background color. You can choose a solid color. You can upload an image. Choose among our ready-made images. I'm happy with this blue. So I'll simply set features layout. You can choose to arrange your features on one column, two columns, on three columns. One column is fine with me, and save changes. So I can now preview my app landing page in the browser just by clicking on this button here. And there you go. As you can see, it really looks like a mini website. So we have our nice preview to give an idea of what the application will look like, our short description. We have social icons for sharing your application and your app landing page on the major social networks, and a short description for the app features. Of course, at the moment we only have one single icon here about the Chrome Web Store, because it's an HTML5 web app. We haven't published this application on the stores yet. But in case you publish the application on the store, then of course you will also see here two icons, one for Google Play and the other one for the Apple App Store, so that just by clicking on these icons, your users will be redirected to the appropriate store where they can download the application. Okay, finally we're almost done. Always remember to update your changes at the end of each session of work. And before actually starting promoting your application and submitting your app to the stores, Make sure that you preview your application by testing it on your devices. So just click on this button, Preview App, and select the device on which you wish to test your application. In my case, I have an Android device, so I'll just click on Android, and all I have to do is download AppsBuilder demo app from Google Play and log in into the application using my username and password, and just test the application on my phone to see what it looks like, to see if I'm happy with the text, if the design is mobile optimized in the way that I want, and make sure basically that everything looks fine and works properly. Okay, so that's pretty much it. We have created a basic app in roughly an hour. Of course, over time you can add more pages, submenus, you can edit your content and photos, and so on. You can refresh layout and so on. I tried to do something quite basic to stick to our 1 hour time frame. But over time, we're going to have also shorter webinars and maybe something more detailed for specific functions. So if you have questions now, you can type in your questions in the live chat box, and I will do my best to answer your questions. Okay, I can already see a few questions in the chat box, so I would just ask you to bear with me for a few minutes. Just give me the time to go through all of your questions, and I'll get back to you in a minute with the replies. Okay, here I am again. So the first question that we have for today's webinar is about changing, customizing the look and feel of the wall chat. This is something that we are working on at the moment, so it's definitely on our roadmap. So it is not possible, unfortunately, at the moment, but it will soon be. If I have to give you a timing, I'd say probably within a couple of months it will be possible to do that. We usually have like 2 or 3 big releases a year, and the next one is scheduled for the end of January. So possibly by the end of January you will be able to customize the look and feel of your wall chat. Okay, as regards to splash image, one of our friends here is asking whether it is possible to upload an animated flash image like with a flash splash image. This is something that can be done, but it is not recommended at all because there are some requirements, some very strict requirements by the major stores, and they recommend not to upload animated splash images. So it is something that you can do with AppsBuilder, but unless of course you want your app to be rejected on the stores, we really don't recommend to do that. Then we have another question about customizing the look and feel of grids, such as editing the space between icons, alignment. Of course, yes, this is something that can be done. I will show you in a minute how to do that. And finally, we have another question about creating an app for survey. I don't know if I get this question right, but I guess that you can use, if you want to gather information, contact details, or feedback from your users, all you have to do is just basically create different forms, like the one that we created today for booking, to allow users to book a seat for a session. So you can use the form, and as I showed you, you have different options, so you have a lot of fields that you can add to your form, and you can create customized surveys. Okay, just go back for a second to the question of our friend asking about the look and feel of grids. So go back to content. Remember the options feature that I showed you. Just click on options. Like I said, I went pretty fast over these features for time reasons, but if you click on options, for each one of these tabs here, you have loads of different options to customize the look and feel of your app. So for example, this is for title or description, but as regards the icon, you have different options. Like I said, the one that you were asking about, the alignment, there you go. This is to align the icon in the center, to align the icon on the left. Let me see what happens. There you go. So you see the changes in real time in the preview. This is the icon, for example, aligned to the left. You have different options for the navigation menu also. The navigation menu, for example, is it allows you to arrange your content entries in different styles within the page. So for example, usually we set it on list, but you can also opt for different options such as the grid on 1 column, 2, 3 columns, or a tab slider, for example. So basically, yes, for this kind of customization features, you have to take a look at the options button here, and then options again for each one of them. So basically, if you stay on the first stage, layout, it's just to set some basic design features. Then if you move to options, you have the chance, to, as you can see, to work on the number of rows height, cell margin, scrolling options, vertical, horizontal, and the alignment and everything else. Alright, so before we end this webinar today, I just want to show you a few contact details to get in touch with me later on. So, like I said, the tweet for the hashtag for these webinars today is apps for events, so feel free to tweet me even afterwards on AppsBuilder Twitter profile. But also take a look at our support forum if you need to find out more about specific tasks and specific features with AppsBuilder, and also in case you need support from our customer care specialists. And I also recommend to take a look at our blog, where you can find plenty of resources, infographics, ebooks, and news about AppsBuilder and the mobile industry in general. And we're always very happy to hear from you. So feel free to drop us an email at support@appsbuilder.com, and take a look finally at our YouTube channel, where starting from tomorrow you will be able to find this webinar and many other webinars that we previously recorded. Okay, so that's it for today. Thank you very much for your time today. I hope that you enjoyed the webinar, that you found it useful. Enjoy the rest of your day, and see you at our next webinar.